If you don't like history but still love music, then buckle up. We're about to take a deep dive into the fascinating and often tumultuous journey of the music industry over the past century. From the roaring 1920s to the digital age of today, music has been a constant companion, evolving and adapting to the times. But with every evolution, there have been significant disruptions, and understanding these shifts can give us a clearer picture of where we might be headed. This story's got more twists than a vinyl record. Imagine the needle of history tracing the grooves of time, each twist and turn representing a pivotal moment in the music industry. From the birth of jazz to the rise of rock and roll, from the dominance of pop to the emergence of hip-hop, each genre has left its mark, shaping not just our musical tastes but our cultural identity. The music industry has crashed not once but twice in a century. The first crash came with the advent of radio, which revolutionized how people consumed music. No longer did they need to buy records, they could simply tune in and listen for free. This shift nearly brought the record industry to its knees. The second crash, more recent and perhaps more devastating, was brought about by the digital revolution. The rise of the internet, streaming services and digital piracy fundamentally changed the landscape of music consumption. And what's going on? What does it mean for our future? As we stand on the brink of yet another transformation, it's crucial to understand the forces at play. The digital age has democratized music production and distribution, allowing anyone with a computer to create and share their work. But this democratization comes with its own set of challenges, from the devaluation of music as a commodity to the struggle of artists to make a living in an oversaturated market. Just like in the 1920s when radio exploded, the recent collapse isn't just about technology, it's about a broader societal shift, a change in how we value and interact with music. In the 1920s, radio brought music into people's homes, making it a communal experience. Today, streaming services have made music more accessible than ever, but they've also made it more solitary. We listen to our personalized playlists on our headphones, often disconnected from the shared experience of live music. It's part of a bigger societal shift. The way we consume music reflects broader changes in our society, from the rise of individualism to the decline of communal spaces. In the past, music was a social activity, something that brought people together. Today, it's often a solitary pursuit, something we do alone in our own little bubbles. Baby boomers, born between 1945 and 1965, have driven the cultural landscape for decades. This generation grew up with the birth of rock and roll, the explosion of pop music, and the rise of the album as an art form. They were the first to experience music as a mass-market commodity, and their tastes and preferences have shaped the industry for over half a century. But their retirement is shaking things up. As baby boomers retire and pass the torch to younger generations, the music industry is undergoing another seismic shift. The tastes and preferences of millennials and Gen Z are different, and the industry must adapt to meet their demands. This shift is not just about the music itself, but about how it's consumed, shared, and experienced. The first music crash, it happened when radio pushed the record industry to the brink. The advent of radio in the 1920s was a game changer. For the first time, people could listen to music for free in the comfort of their own homes. This was a huge blow to the record industry, which had relied on sales of physical records. But the industry adapted, finding new ways to monetize music, from live performances to radio royalties. Today, it's the digital revolution. The rise of the internet and digital technology has once again upended the music industry. Streaming services like Spotify and Apple Music have made it easier than ever to access a vast library of music, but they've also made it harder for artists to make a living. The revenue from streaming is a fraction of what artists used to make from record sales, and many are struggling to adapt to this new reality. Streaming services and piracy are eroding traditional music sales. The convenience of streaming and the prevalence of digital piracy have made it difficult for the traditional music industry to compete. Record stores are closing, CD sales are plummeting, and even digital downloads are on the decline. The industry is in a state of flux, trying to find new ways to generate revenue and support artists. But the real story? It's about generational shifts and how each new wave of technology divides us. Each generation has its own way of interacting with music, shaped by the technology of the time. Baby boomers grew up with vinyl records and radio, Gen X with cassettes and CDs, millennials with MP3s and digital downloads, and Gen Z with streaming and social media. These shifts in technology have not only changed how we consume music, but also how we connect with it and with each other. The baby boomers' dominance is fading, and younger generations are left to pick up the pieces. As the baby boomers retire, the music industry is being reshaped by the tastes and preferences of younger generations. Millennials and Gen Z are more likely to stream music than buy physical records, and they're more interested in discovering new artists than sticking with the classics. This shift is creating new opportunities for independent artists and niche genres, but it's also challenging the traditional music industry to adapt. In both crashes, recovery came from adaptation. The music industry has always been resilient, finding new ways to survive and thrive in the face of change. After the crash of the 1920s, the industry adapted by embracing radio and live performances. Today, it's adapting by embracing streaming and digital technology, finding new ways to connect with audiences and generate revenue. The music industry merged with new technologies to survive. From the advent of radio to the rise of the internet, the music industry has always found ways to adapt to new technologies. Today, artists are using social media to connect with fans, streaming services to distribute their music, and digital tools to create and produce their work. This merging of music and technology is creating new opportunities and challenges, but it's also ensuring that music remains a vital part of our culture. Now, independent labels and purists are the ones keeping the spirit of music alive, just like during the Great Depression. In times of crisis, it's often the independent artists and labels that keep the spirit of music alive. During the Great Depression, it was the small independent labels that kept producing records, even as the major labels struggled. Today, it's the indie artists and labels that are pushing the boundaries, experimenting with new sounds and finding new ways to connect with audiences. They've stuck around, sensing the worst is over, and are now looking to the future with hope, even as challenges remain. Despite the challenges, there's a sense of hope and optimism in the music industry. Independent artists and labels are finding new ways to thrive, using technology to reach new audiences and create new opportunities. They're looking to the future with hope, even as they navigate the challenges of the present. The next generation faces an even bigger crisis, one that could shape the future of culture and society as we know it. The challenges facing the music industry today are significant, but they're also an opportunity for innovation and change. The next generation of artists and industry professionals will need to find new ways to navigate these challenges, from finding sustainable revenue models to addressing issues of equity and access. The future of music is uncertain, but it's also full of potential. But history shows music has always been the sole medicine we need to navigate turbulent times. Throughout history, music has been a source of comfort and inspiration in times of crisis. From the Great Depression to the Civil Rights Movement, music has played a crucial role in helping people navigate turbulent times. Today, as we face new challenges, music continues to be a source of solace and strength, helping us to connect with each other and find hope for the future. It's time to clean up the industry and keep the faith, because the storm is far from over. The music industry is in a state of flux, but there's a sense of hope and determination. Artists, labels, and fans are coming together to find new ways to support each other and keep the spirit of music alive. It's a challenging time, but it's also an opportunity to create a more equitable and sustainable industry. Share and subscribe for more insights into the forces shaping our world. Stay tuned as we continue to explore the fascinating and ever-changing world of music and the broader cultural and societal shifts that shape it. Your support helps us to keep bringing you these stories, so don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more insights into the forces shaping our world.